Officials and leaders across the region expressed condolences to the Iranian people and government after the news of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi's death on Monday. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was killed in a helicopter crash in mountainous terrain near the Azerbaijan border. The charred wreckage of the helicopter, which crashed on Sunday carrying Raisi and a foreign minister, was found after an overnight search. Now, Raisi's death has been confirmed in a statement on social media by Vice President Mohsen Mansouri, and on a state television. Senior researcher, fellow and director of Afrasid, Thembisa Fakude, joins us now via video link to weigh in on this. Thembisa, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. So, I mean, of course, this is a big development, particularly given what we are experiencing in the region. Now, given Iran's current geopolitical stance, I mean, what are you observing regarding this particular incident?
Well, the situation is tense at the moment, and as you correctly put it, or correspondent put it, we can't rule out the technical fault within the helicopter, which is very old, and because of the sanctions, Iranians can't order spare parts for helicopters. But also, there's a sizable number of Iranians who suspect that there might have been some nefarious intervention as well that led to this crash, although that the prevailing narrative that we have at the moment is that the crash was caused by bad weather conditions. So there are various views at the moment within the region, but because of the prevailing context, the continuing conflict in Gaza between Hamas and Israeli forces and the genocide that's currently unfolding in that part of the world, many people believe and feel that there must probably some nefarious intervention by other parties in the region that have caused this crash.
I mean, let's just look at, Raisi and his relationships that he had, the close relationships, of course. I mean, he was a hardline, a cleric close to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And, what then are the implications around, succession talks, given that he was touted, to then, replace or, just go in as part of the supreme leader. Just your thoughts around that and, of course, the legacy that he leaves behind.
Well, there is also sensible relief within Iran, because many Iranians do regard Ibrahim Raisi as a person who was involved in killing of thousands of Iranians, particularly those that disagreed with the government during his time as the Supreme Court judge in Iran. So there's that feel in Iran, and many people were concerned that Ibrahim Raisi could eventually replace Ayatollah Ali Khamenei because of his closeness with the Ayatollah. So this comes at that very divisive moment in Iran. As you correctly put it, he is supposed to be replaced, at least for now, by the current foreign minister, and then you'll have the elections in 50 days. So we don't know whether indeed the foreign minister will replace, but according to the constitution, that's what's supposed to be happening. So all of us are waiting for Ayatollah Ali Khamenei to make that statement. And it's important, of course, the statement that Ayatollah Khamenei will make will either increase the sense of anxiety and instability in the region or diffuse it, because we've heard already the Iranians referring to both Hosseini Amir Abdul Hayyan and Ibrahim Raisi as martyrs. Now, martyrs in Islamic context means those who were fighting a just cause and were killed in the path or during the path of that fight. So we don't know what that means yet. So we'll have to wait and hear what Ayatollah Ali Khamenei will have to say about the death of Ibrahim Raisi.
Let's just bring it closer to home in terms of, foreign policy relations and so forth. Iran's relationship with sub-Saharan Africa and Iran's foreign policy engagement, with the continent, just the significance around this particular death.
Well, Iran has become part of the BRICS Plus. Iran has had very close relationship with South Africa. South Africa has got sizable investment in Iran, MTN being one of them. MTN is a leading telecommunication company in Iran. So South Africa's relationship with Iran is quite strong. And I think South Africa, of course, will be concerned about any instability in Iran because of its vested interest in that country. But I don't think the foreign relation positions will be altered in any way or form. I think Iran will continue dealing with South Africa and Africa as it has been doing so in the past couple of years. What I think is, of course, concerning is who's going to be coming next, and to what extent is the next president going to be continuing with the current trajectory, particularly the proxy wars and relationships that Iran enjoys with the Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Palestine. So that's the concern for many people, particularly the Israelis and indeed the United States. But I think from a South African perspective, South Africa is only concerned mainly about its financial investment and involvement in Iran.
Another, of course, close ally to Iran was Russia. And we understand already that, Russian President Vladimir Putin has already spoken to the newly appointed acting president, speaking fondly there about Raisi. Just in terms of relations between Iran and Russia at this particular juncture.
Well, the relationship between Iran and Russia is quite strong. And at many points in their relationship, it's been very destructive. One cannot forget, of course, the involvement of both countries in Syria, where they've killed, flattened, and destroyed Syria, particularly in places such as Aleppo and Damascus. So they continue working together to counter the American hegemony in that part of the world. So I think Russia will be the first country, of course, to send condolences and to offer assistance. They've done so yesterday when the rescue mission was underway. So I think that relationship will continue. But of course, for many people who have been observing the involvement of Iran in the region, particularly in Syria, there are a sizable number of Arabs who are celebrating what happened to Ibrahim Raisi, because Ibrahim Raisi, together with Vladimir Putin, were involved in the massacre and killing of thousands of people and destruction and displacement of millions of people in Syria, which led to the mass migration and exodus of Syrians into Europe.
Thembisa, thank you so much for your time. Of course, Thembisa Fakude there is a senior research fellow just weighing in, of course, on the news there of Ibrahim Raisi's death following that helicopter accident.